Hello, all. I have Ravi Raghavendra with me, and he has been taking personal coaching with me since 9 months. So, Ravi Raghavendra is a program management supervisor in Michigan, USA, working in a multinational company. So, welcome, Ravi, for this session, and I'm very glad to interview today. And Ravi is married and he's living with his spouse and two lovely children. Hi, Ravi.
Thank you, Niranjan. Thank you. Yes.
Ravi, I'm very thrilled to interview today. If I ask you what made you to come to my personal coaching, so could you please tell us?
Yeah. Niranjan, actually, I've been watching you for quite some time. Okay, I've known you as my colleague almost around close to 15 years ago. Okay. But then I started seeing you going through so many difficult phases in your life, your own personal life. I'm aware of it. And then I see you coming back, bouncing back. There was a pretty low phase in your life at one time, and you bounced back pretty rigorously and made it successfully, emotionally and financially, and keeping yourself going with all the smiles. I was pretty intrigued by that. And I was also going through some kind of a personal low phase during that time, around 9 months ago. And I was trying to see who can be a good mentor to me, okay, who can help me to bounce back in my life, okay, come back. I used to be a highly enthusiastic and energetic person, and I wanted to get back to that. I really wanted to bounce back. So having looked at it and having seen your own progression, I said, who else can be a good mentor for me than you? So that's how I approached you 9 months ago, okay, to have a personal session with you. Okay. So yeah, that's how I approached you.
I still remember that. So all of a sudden you sent me a message from USA in LinkedIn.
Yes.
I still remember that incident. So Ravi, if I ask you, how is your journey has been during the coaching? So could you please tell us?
Yeah. So the journey has been a stupendous journey, actually, as far as I'm concerned. The first 3 months was a very rigorous sessions. Okay, it was a weekly session, and we first identified the challenges that I was facing, and trying to. We set the goals for first 3 months. Okay, and there were rigorous reviews of what I was doing, and that helped me to pull myself out of what I was going through at that time.
Okay,
and in 3 months' time, I could see some changes happening. Okay, so we continued after that for a long-term goal session for almost 3 more months. Okay, and then after 6 months was done, I realized that if I let go, okay, then I might be missing out on something. I needed a continuous tap or a continuous feedback, or a way to at least discuss my current challenges. So I felt that's needed. So after 6 months, that's why I continued with you. Okay. And I think I will continue with you for some more time at least. Yes.
Thank you very much for having that trust. Okay, if I ask you some of the key results that you have got during the coaching for the benefit of viewers, so could you please tell us about it?
Yes. So when I started off, my self-identity, all right, my own integrity, and there were quite a few questions around it, right? I was suffering a lot from low self-esteem. Okay, that was the low part of my phase. So the first 3 months, the sessions really helped me to bounce back on my self-esteem. Okay. And which really led me to get a good recognition in my company. A lot more responsibilities happened. Okay. And so from there on, I could really see an rise in at least the recognition part from the company about me and what I'm able to contribute to the organization. So thanks to you about those 3 months, which was really intense, and I could get that through. Post that, what happened was, even for the long-term journey, so I understood and realized that I had to do a lot more work on my own integrity, and especially being a warrior, right? Thinking through like a warrior. right? So those are some of the things which I think which gave me the results. Okay, so I would I mean, especially my success was purely because I was doggedly following through everything that I was doing, and with a lot of passion, of course.
Yeah.
Yep.
So just to interrupt you, you said that warrior. So could you
Yes.
please elaborate what exactly you learned about a warrior mindset or a warrior attitude? Could you please tell for the benefit
Yeah.
of viewers who are watching?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what used to happen before is when I used to take up a job, if there is, I would almost come to the end, but if I was very tired or there were some kind of challenges or blocks in between, I would just give it up and I would not follow through till the end. Okay, that was one of my major issues. Okay, so when you talk to me about the way of the warrior and how we need to think like the warrior, okay, that put back a perspective into me, and I started thinking through, okay, to say that I will do whatever it takes.
Okay.
Okay, sometimes it needed me to spend through the night all the way till the morning to complete some things, but I would approach it with that attitude now, saying that I will do whatever it takes to complete this. Okay, so that was one of the things which literally brought about big changes
Okay.
in how the organization perceives me. Yeah.
Okay. And if I ask you, what are certain transformation which you brought or which happened to you in your personal life,
Yeah.
apart from your professional challenges? Could you please tell one or two?
Yep. So after the 3 months, then the next 3 months were when we were setting up the long-term goals. We were also setting up goals for my personal life, right? Especially my relationships with my wife and son. Okay. It took me some time to understand what you were trying to say, okay, in terms of how do we give up our ego, judgment, okay, and embrace the family as they are, okay, without taking them for granted. Okay, that was the bigger part for me, actually. Okay, that brought out, that is still bringing me a transformation. I'm still in the process. Okay, I'm still not completely there, but yes. So that has at least given me a perspective of how I need to start looking at my wife, my son, my daughter, and how I need to change my own thought process and how I need to be working with them. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because this ego is something which affects many people, because it always makes us to think more about ourselves rather than others. So
Yes.
when we start thinking, how can I contribute others? How can I help others? So, and when we come with that kind of attitude, the whole relation will change. And I hope you experienced that, isn't it?
Yes, many a times actually after we went through that session, right? So I would, when I'm slowly getting caught into the thought process of why me, okay, and or any of those things, when either there is a fight or any of the discussions or arguments that happen, right? Then I would suddenly stop myself and think, this is not about me. This is about my wife or my son or my daughter, right? And when I change that, possibly when I change that thought process, that's when I could see the transformation happening. So my own outlook for either my daughter or my son changed. So I realized it's not about just me. It's not about myself in the picture. It's more about them. So that gave me a ground to look at their emotions, understand their emotions, what they were going through much better. Yes.
I think that we are the cause of the matter. So that
Yes.
when we think that like that, so how did it help you when you, in that session,
Yes.
when we were
So
discussing about the cause of the matter, and you are the cause of the matter, and after that session you went and implemented several things in your personal life.
yes.
So how did it help?
Yes. Yeah. So when you talked about we are the cause in the matter, initially it was difficult for me to digest, let me be honest. Okay. Because somewhere there is still that blame game that happens, right? So first thing I realized is when I say that I'm the cause in the matter, that means I need to take actions rather than waiting for somebody else to take the action, right? I need to do what I think I need to be doing to better the situation, right?
Correct.
So the more I started looking into, I'm in the cause and the matter, even at both at workplace as well as at home, my entire outlook of how that discussion happens or how I approach the other person, okay, has started changing.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
So many a times I've been asking my question, we have to take personal responsibility for everything we do and everything we say. And so it was hard for me to understand what exactly it is, right? Many a times we are relying or depending on somebody else to do things, or, there is a relational element to it. Okay. But when you explained it to me and said that, no, it's more about you start thinking that your responses based on whatever situation that is in front of you, right? That changes the whole outcome, right? So when you give me that E plus R is equal to O relationship, right? So that's when I started putting this together and I started realizing, okay, and some of the exercises that we discussed, and when I started implementing them, okay, I can see the way even my son is able to relate to me, or my wife is relating to me, or my daughter is relating to me. I can see that slowly the transformation happening.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm very happy to hear that, and I'm sure that the relationship has gone to a new level now. Right?
Yes.
It's very important because when we think that we are the cause of the matter, and we stop blaming other people, external people, or external environment. And the biggest problem is that we always think problem is with others, not with us. Okay, so but when you take that responsibility, the way you respond to the situation will change. And I keep telling, when your house is in order, you can bring transformation in any areas. But when your house is not in order, whatever you do outside, you will not be peaceful, or you will not be whatever you do, you won't feel accomplished person. So I really happy that you implemented those things and you saw those changes. So if I ask you, what, after how many weeks or months you started seeing these changes in your professional life as well as your personal life?
So in the professional part of it, like I said, in the first 3 months itself, okay, when I started, we had a talk about an integrity part, right?
Okay.
I mean, you do what you say, correct? There is no other go, right? So when I started implementing
your word is your law.
Yes. Yes, that's what you said. Yes. So when I started using that and the warrior approach, right? The way of the warrior, or thinking like the warrior, that changed a lot of things, especially the outcomes I was bringing to the table, or the results that I was getting, or even taking personal responsibility to make some changes, talking to people and bringing about some changes in the way of the organization. So those were some of the things that I could bring about in the first 3 to 4 months. Okay,
and
based
your
on
level of commitment was also increasing. The moment you stand for it and you say, this is what I'm going to do, and you'll stand for your word, and how was your level of commitment at that time?
Yeah, so I mean, to be honest, okay, so I could see a change in the way I was bringing out commitment. Okay, in the sense, earlier it used to be people would not get confidence that if I said something, it will get done. Okay, but now in the meetings or in front of the customer, when I stand and I say that I will do this, I'll get this for you, that trust has increased. Okay, so likewise, I've been following with my team, trying to get those things done and ensuring that it is getting done. Right?
Yes.
So now I can see that the customers, or even my own team members, when I say in the meeting that this has to get done, they acknowledge it and they work towards it.
Yeah. So you have
Okay.
become more assertive, decisive.
Yes,
Your
more assertive,
decision
more
taking.
focused.
Yeah. And how is
Yep.
your decision taking capability has increased?
Yes. So earlier I used to be somewhat confused most of the times because I used to think multiple options, but never converge on any option because
Mhm.
I would not take the risk. Let me put it that way, right?
Mhm.
So I would postpone decision making,
Okay.
right? So once we went to some of these things, I said, no, I take a decision.
Mm.
Okay, good or bad.
Yeah.
If it hurts, we can always change things, right?
Absolutely.
Later.
Yeah. So
Yep.
many times, what happens? Our own self-negative voice keeps preventing us. Okay, what will happen if I say so like that? So this prevents us from doing so
Yes.
many things. And I think
Yes.
you could overcome moment you stood like a man of integrity and
Yes.
with that warrior attitude, isn't it?
Yes. That's right.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what happened, also, right? And
And yeah,
that's
inner voice will still be there, isn't it? But still,
yes.
but
Yes.
what changed? So that is the thing.
So one of the things was I was taking a long time, even for my own team members, to give
Mhm.
my decision,
Mm,
right?
mm,
So now, when I started giving the decisions quickly,
mm,
but having done that, I
mm.
would still follow up with the decisions,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And so we go through with the decisions,
Mm-hmm.
right? And now there is a realization that no, he means business,
Mm-hmm.
right? Earlier, because I was dilly-dallying on not giving the right decisions, or I mean, being slow on giving decisions, the
Mm.
teams were also confused. They were not getting a sense of direction.
Right.
So now I'm giving very clear directions
Mm-hmm.
with decisions.
Mm.
So that's helping the team. They
Mm.
understand, okay, whatever it is, this has to get done.
Mm.
This has to get done, right?
Okay.
So that's a big change that I'm seeing now.
Okay.
Okay, just on
Fantastic. Very
what I
nice.
said.
Very
Yes.
nice to hear. So if I ask you, like, how do you look yourself about your future?
Mm.
So about you might have some goals in your life, in your profession. So how do you look yourself uh, from now on after the
Mm.
coaching? So what could it be?
So in one of the sessions that you talked about, Niranjan, was acting like the owner,
Mm,
right?
mm,
So my long-term goal is to reach to a place,
mm,
okay,
mm,
where I should be in a position to contribute to this organization,
mm,
right?
mm,
I mean, I should be able to touch
mm,
the entire organization, all the people in the organization. So,
mm,
which basically means that
mm,
I need a position
mm,
which can help me to touch those things.
mm,
Okay.
mm,
So that means I need to go at least two positions higher,
mm,
right, in the next 5 years' time.
mm, mm,
Okay. Apart from that, okay,
mm,
that is more from a position perspective, but from actions perspective, we're trying to help people.
mm,
Okay.
mm,
So the goals that I have is first to transform the things that are happening with my own team,
mm,
right? And the
mm,
next is to bring in a high productivity process,
mm,
okay, for
mm.
managing projects,
Okay.
right,
Mm.
for the organization. So that's the other part of the
That's
goals.
very
But those are, of
important.
course, professional goals. Yes, right.
Yeah, it's very important. Yeah, very important because we need to have a long-term vision. How can you add a value to the organization?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
and how do you raise your value? So
yes,
very nice to hear that you have that vision, and I hope now your the self-confidence, self-belief is has increased in
yes,
accomplishing those goals. Am I right?
yes, that's right. Because now it at least gives me a perspective,
Okay.
right?
Mm.
So earlier I used to have this vision, but not much of actions into it consciously,
Okay.
right? Now I'm trying to be the warrior,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
And so I'm putting the actions down
Mm.
and doing whatever it takes to
Mm.
accomplish those small actions.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
And the other thing that you used to say, right? Stop thinking, start acting.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
that's one of the advices that I took hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so now I'm not going to be worried about the bigger thing that I realized is not to be continuously worried about the goal, right?
Ah.
Focus on those small actions that you need to do right now.
Yeah,
correct.
That's very important. Because
Yes.
what we need to do today, we should do rather than thinking too long how to do. So when we do
Yes.
the things, what is supposed to be done today, naturally we start getting what is the way out for future. So many times
Yes.
we start thinking too far rather than acting at present.
Yes.
I think
So especially the concept that you introduced, that our own mind has its own way to achieve the goal once you set the goal, right? So I've been trying to use that more, saying, okay, it's all right.
It is a goal striving mechanism. Everyone
goal striving. Yes, that's what you said. Yes, thanks. So what I did was, I think it took me some time to cross that chasm of believing that I don't have to worry about the bigger goal all the time. Okay. Rather than think through the small actions that needs to be taken immediately, right? And something will guide me to go to that bigger goal, right? So it took me some time. I know I heard from you. I tried to put some actions based on what you said, but in order to believe, make myself open towards accepting that and working towards that, it started happening now.
It's very important. See, only when you have a goal, so your mind finds a way. So everyone has the goal striving mechanism. So it's the success mechanism. So all we need to do is we need to have something in front of us so that it pulls us to achieve it. So that's why I keep telling in all my coaching sessions and to my clients. And I think you understood and implemented it. Okay, thank you very much, Ravi, for having implemented that and getting the results out of it. If I ask you a couple of suggestions, what you would like to give for the viewers who are watching this interview, what are they?
Yeah, so I'll tell from my own personal experience.
Sure.
Okay. So when you hear things from Niranjan for the first time, okay, it looks difficult. Okay, it looks surprisingly difficult because we are not used to this concept. I'll give you a simple example: incantation. Okay, you asked me to go and stand in front of the mirror and talk to myself and pump myself up. I said, come on, what is this? I've never done anything like that before. So it's highly uncomfortable to stand in front of a mirror first, look at ourselves, and then to do an incantation and pump myself up. Come on, you're asking for too much, right? So I think some of those things, right? I know now after going through practicing enough, right?
Okay.
Initially, it looked like it is difficult or challenging or it is uncomfortable, but I think we need to trust the process, like what you said, right? And immerse ourselves into the process, and that's what makes the change. So that's one of the bigger things that I would like to let everybody know, that you have to just trust the process and stick with it. Yes.
So I think for the benefit of viewers, what Ravi is trying to say, when you trust the process, is to trust the process of coaching and give the response, surrender yourself to the mentor or a coach, and trust in his or her process of coaching, and don't question too much. Be open and receptive to what is happening in the coaching session and go and implement. I think that's what you're trying to say, isn't it?
Yes. So have an open mind to implement what comes out of the session, rather than having a mental block inside. That I think is the biggest thing which I realized. And that's what I would like to give as a suggestion or an advice to whoever wants to take the coaching from you, is to keep an open mind towards what you're saying and not fight it. Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay. So I think we are discussed quite a lot. And before we wind up, I would like to ask one question. What is the one primary or one success strategy which you have learned and which you want to continue forever in your life?
Yeah, I've written it down.
What is that it could be?
So I'll give you three.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
All right. No issues.
Instead of one. Okay. So first, the three things which I liked and which I still implement and I'm still improving on it, and which I think is the most biggest part of the achievement for me is thinking like a warrior. One is that. Second is integrity.
Integrity. Okay.
Okay. Third is I am the cause of the matter. Right.
Okay.
So start with I am cause of the matter. Right. So that basically makes me believe that I am the one who is creating these situations or creating these outcomes. So it puts a hard reflection for myself saying that, so now I start thinking, saying, this happened. Why did this happen? What did I do because of this, which this happened? Right? So that gives me a feedback saying, I need to be doing something differently in order to create an outcome that I want.
Correct.
Right? That's the first thing. Second thing is about integrity. Right? So once you take a decision, how do you stick to that decision?
Okay.
Many a times we ourselves waver. We don't trust our own word, or we don't believe in what we say, or whatever it is, right? So second thing that going through all these things that I realized is once you said it, stick to it.
Okay.
Because you said it.
Yeah.
You must have thought something at that time and said it, whether it is good or bad, whatever it is.
Because you said it, stick to it.
Stick to it, right? So have the guts, have the courage to stick to it.
Okay.
Right. And if it's something goes wrong, you always have an opportunity to correct it. Right. So that gave me an immense, a courage for me to stick to the words that I said. Okay. And then last one is about thinking like a warrior. Right. You have basically you have understood you are the cause of the matter. You have given your word. Now you better fulfill it. Do whatever it takes to complete the things that you said.
That is very important.
Right?
Doing whatever it takes is important.
Yes. So that's how I sequence it, and that's how I look at analyzing the things now, whatever I do. Okay. And I know that we have our started with the bi-weekly sessions and slowly monthly sessions too. So that helps me to bounce back or bring back whenever I'm slipping by in something. It gives me a bouncing board, at least, to talk to you and try to get an understanding of how we can shape things even more better. Okay. So yes, so that's my 3 takeaways.
Great. Yep. Thank you so much for sharing, and I really thank you for taking your time and participating and sharing what you learned, because when you share, you become an instrument of change for others, so that people also can get the help by overcoming their own issues. So thank you, Ravi, once again for having come here and sharing all your thoughts and your experiences, what happened during my coaching.
Thank you, Niranjan. Thank you so much.
Best and do well in your life.
Thank you. Thank you. With you behind me, I think I will definitely do that.
Okay, thank you.